Long before Argentina became a country, its land was home to many indigenous peoples. These groups had lived there for thousands of years. They spoke different languages, followed their own traditions, and lived in different ways depending on where they were. In the northwest, near the Andes Mountains, the Diaguita people built villages, farmed the land, and made pottery. In the south, the Mapuche and Tehuelche hunted animals and moved around to find food. In the northeast, near the jungle, the Guarani grew crops like maize, corn, and manioc, and lived near rivers. These groups traded with each other and had their own systems of leadership and belief. They lived peacefully most of the time, though sometimes groups fought over land or resources. The Inca Empire, which ruled much of western South America, also reached into what is now northwest Argentina before the Europeans came. In 1516, a Spanish explorer named Juan Díaz de Solís sailed into the Rio de la Plata, a wide river estuary that separates modern Argentina and Uruguay. He was one of the first Europeans to explore the area, but he was soon killed by indigenous people. A few years later, other Spanish explorers came, looking for silver and gold. The name Argentina actually comes from the Latin word argentum, meaning silver, because Europeans believed the land was rich in that metal. The Spanish began to build settlements and claimed the area as part of their empire. In 1536, they founded Buenos Aires for the first time, but it failed because of conflict with local indigenous people and lack of food. In 1580, Buenos Aires was founded again, this time successfully. Over the years, the Spanish established other towns such as Córdoba, Mendoza, and Salta. Argentina became part of the Spanish colonial territory called the Viceroyalty of Peru, and later the Viceroyalty of the Rio de la Plata, created in 1776. The economy depended on farming, ranching, and trade. Cattle and horses brought from Europe spread across the grasslands known as the Pampas. Life under Spanish rule was very unequal. Spanish-born people, called peninsulares, had the most power, while local-born people of Spanish descent, called criollos, had fewer rights. Indigenous people and Africans, many of whom were brought as slaves, were forced to work and had little freedom. In the early 1800s, big changes were happening in the world. In Europe, Napoleon invaded Spain, which weakened Spanish control over its colonies. Across Latin America, people began to think about independence. In Buenos Aires, the criollos started to feel that they could govern themselves better than distant Spain. On May 25, 1810, the people of Buenos Aires removed the Spanish viceroy and formed a local government. This event, known as the May Revolution, marked the beginning of the Argentine War of Independence. However, it took several years of fighting before independence was officially declared. On July 9, 1816, representatives from the provinces met in the city of Tucumán and declared Argentina's independence from Spain. One of the great heroes of this period was José de San Martín. He was a skilled general who led Argentine and Chilean troops across the Andes Mountains to defeat Spanish forces in Chile and later in Peru. His leadership helped secure freedom for much of southern South America. After independence, Argentina did not immediately become peaceful or united. The provinces often disagreed about how the country should be governed. Some people wanted a strong central government in Buenos Aires, while others wanted a federal system where each province had more power. These disagreements led to decades of civil wars. Leaders known as caudillos, or local strongmen, controlled different provinces. One of the most powerful was Juan Manuel de Rosas, who ruled Buenos Aires and much of Argentina from 1829 to 1852. Rosas was a controversial figure. He kept order and defended Argentina against foreign powers, but he also ruled harshly and used violence against his opponents. After Rosas was defeated, Argentina began to build a more stable system. In 1853, the country adopted a new constitution, which is still the foundation of its government today. This helped unite the provinces and gave Argentina a stronger national identity. From the late 1800s to the early 1900s, Argentina went through a period of great growth and change. The country's fertile land made it one of the world's top producers of beef, wheat, and corn. Railways and ports were built to help export goods to Europe. Buenos Aires became a major city, full of energy and opportunity. At the same time, millions of immigrants came to Argentina, especially from Italy and Spain, but also from other parts of Europe. They came looking for a better life, and many worked in farms, factories, or cities. These immigrants helped shape Argentina's culture, language, and traditions. Buenos Aires became known for its European-style architecture, cafes, and music. During this time, tango music and dance were born in the poorer neighborhoods of Buenos Aires, combining African rhythms, European melodies, and local creativity. Tango soon became one of Argentina's most famous cultural symbols. Although Argentina was rich, not everyone shared in the wealth. Many workers and small farmers struggled, while landowners and foreign investors grew powerful. This inequality led to growing political tensions. In 1930, Argentina's progress was interrupted when the military staged a coup and took control of the government. It was the first of many times the military would interfere in politics. During the 1930s, Argentina faced economic problems due to the Great Depression, and corruption was common in politics. In the 1940s, a new political leader emerged, Juan Domingo Perón. A military officer who became popular by helping workers, Perón was elected president in 1946. His policies focused on improving the lives of ordinary people. He raised wages, improved working conditions, and expanded social welfare programs. His wife, Evita Perón, was deeply loved by the poor. She worked to help women and the working class and became a national icon. Perón's movement, known as Peronism, changed Argentina forever. Many people saw him as a champion of social justice, but others criticized him for being authoritarian and controlling. The Catholic Church and parts of the military turned against him. In 1955, Perón was overthrown and went into exile. After Perón was removed, Argentina went through nearly 3 decades of instability. Governments changed frequently, sometimes through elections, but often through military coups. Political parties were divided, and the economy struggled with inflation and debt. In 1973, Perón returned from exile and became president again, but he died the next year. His wife, Isabel Perón, took over, but her government was weak. In 1976, the military seized power once again. The period that followed, known as the Dirty War, 1976-1983, was one of the darkest chapters in Argentina's history. The military government tried to eliminate anyone it thought was against it, including students, teachers, journalists, and activists. Thousands of people were kidnapped, tortured, and disappeared, meaning they were never seen again. Many families are still searching for what happened to their loved ones. Groups like the Mothers of the Plaza de Mayo, who marched every week demanding answers, became symbols of courage. During this time, the military also faced a major defeat. In 1982, Argentina fought a war with Britain over the Falkland Islands, known in Argentina as the Islas Malvinas. The war ended quickly, and Britain kept control of the islands. The defeat weakened the military's power and made many Argentines demand democracy again. In 1983, democracy finally returned. Raúl Alfonsín became president and worked to rebuild democratic institutions. Trials were held for military leaders responsible for human rights abuses, though not all were punished. People were free to speak their minds again, and political parties could operate without fear. However, the economy continued to be a major problem. Argentina has faced repeated financial crises, high inflation, and foreign debt. In the 1990s, President Carlos Menem introduced market reforms that stabilized the economy for a while, but also led to unemployment and inequality. In 2001, Argentina suffered a huge economic collapse. Banks froze people's savings, unemployment rose, and protests filled the streets. Several presidents resigned within weeks. Eventually, the country recovered, but economic instability has remained a recurring issue. In the 2000s and 2010s, leaders like Nestor Kirchner and Cristina Fernández de Kirchner, his wife, brought back Peronist-style policies, focusing on social programs and national pride. They were popular among many poor and working-class people, but faced criticism for corruption and poor economic management. Argentina also became more active in international affairs and supported human rights, education, and science. Despite political ups and downs, democracy has stayed strong since 1983, the longest democratic period in Argentine history. Argentina's culture is rich and diverse. It is famous for tango, soccer, literature, and food. Writers like Jorge Luis Borges and Julio Cortázar became world-renowned for their creativity. Soccer is a national passion, and players like Diego Maradona and Lionel Messi are considered heroes. Argentine food reflects its mix of cultures. Asado, barbecue, is a traditional meal shared with family and friends. Mate, a bitter tea-like drink, is enjoyed daily across the country. Argentina is also known for its strong sense of national pride. Despite economic struggles and political disagreements, Argentines value their freedom and culture deeply. The nation continues to face challenges, but it remains one of the most influential countries in Latin America, with a powerful voice in art, music, and sports. The history of Argentina is a story of struggle, change, and resilience. From its indigenous roots to Spanish colonization, from independence to modern democracy, Argentina has faced many difficult times but always found ways to rebuild and move forward. The country's people have fought for freedom, equality, and justice, and their rich culture continues to inspire the world. Today, Argentina is known not only for its beauty and passion, but also for the strength of its people, who never stop believing in a better future.